Hi, you guys. We've got an update to the Divine Love template. If you've been following me for a while, then you know I've been channeling these updates for 3 years. And every 3 to 6 months, we have new energy that's coming into the collective field around the energy of divine love. And you can go to my YouTube. I actually have a whole playlist. All of the updates are things that we are currently learning and are big jumps for us evolutionary wise. So it's not stuff that you've necessarily already mastered. These are all things for all of us to grow in. As we are evolving as humans, our relationships are evolving, and the facts are that our 3D relationships are very selfish. They're not based in unconditional love, which is where we're moving evolutionary wise, but we're not in that place yet. The only real template we have of that is the twin flame template, and it's not even on the earthly level. It's really in the 8th dimension or higher. So we're not even going to talk about that today. I have other stuff about twin flames on my YouTube if you want to watch that. But the message that's coming through is all these messages are really geared towards our evolution and what we are moving towards. You could even think about this as the North Node, our destiny path that we're moving onto, but is like we have a long ways to go. So what's coming through around this specifically is the question and the concept of how can we not become attached to the people who are coming in and out of our life, whether that's friends, whether that's partners, whoever it might be. We are aware now that people come into our life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right? We know that. We've heard that phrase before. That concept is not something new to us. However, we aren't radiating that embodiment. And what I mean by that is when it's time to let someone go, whether that be a friend or a partner or a relationship with someone like a parent or something that's not healthy, we struggle with it. It's never an easy decision, right? That's something that we often contemplate for a while. And it's difficult, even if nothing goes wrong and you have to let somebody go, or the worst thing happens and you have to let somebody go. It's difficult. And we then have to remind ourselves of those sorts of concepts, right? So the energy that's coming in is in the future as we evolve. We won't even become attached to people, not meaning that we don't care, but we will deeply understand on an embodied level that everybody is flowing into our life and out of our life perfectly, and that we don't have to hold on. We don't have to grip. We don't have to cling to them. We don't have to attach. And so this is where we're heading. This is where we're moving. And I think that it's so interesting because I did a channeled session called Light of Lakshmi around the Pleiadian portal in the beginning of June. And she brought almost the same thing in, but from a wider context. And she was asking, I was channeling her, and she was saying to the group, what would it be like to just never grip? What would it be like if you never gripped or controlled in the first place? And I don't even want to use the word control because a lot of times we're not seeing it as us doing that, but that's what's happening. We want to hold on. We want to hold somebody in our field so they don't leave us, or so they don't go away, or so we don't, end up feeling abandoned. We want to hold them in our field. And the question she's offering, what if we never gripped in the first place? What would that be like? How would we live differently? How do we approach life differently? And I was having a conversation with some friends the other day, and just all the time about this, that we are learning how to surrender. 20 years ago, nobody was talking about how to surrender, maybe in Wayne Dyer's books or something, but that wasn't a collective conversation of let go and surrender. And I was talking to people yesterday actually about this, of we catch ourselves in the times when we're super in our head. We catch ourselves when we're overthinking. We catch ourselves when we're controlling again. We catch ourselves when we're gripping and we're like, fuck, I'm doing it again. Okay, time to surrender. Now I'm going to let go. Now I'm going to surrender. I know I'm divinely protected. I know that I'm divinely supported. I can let go and I'm safe. But we're in the dance and the in-between of that. And that is the work we have to continue doing to get to the place that we're not gripping in the first place. Because eventually over time, I feel like we're going to be in that practice for decades. This is not a quick pattern to release from our field. But the thing is, every single time we do this, which we'll probably have to do it 40 million times, before we get to that space of higher evolution, if not way more than that, if not like trillions. Every single time we are learning how to surrender faster. So it's not necessarily that we're going to have less moments of catching ourselves in the mind. It's that we can shift faster. It's that being able to drop in and surrender is much, much easier. We naturally know how to do it because that's sort of like a template that we've created in our body. And it's like flipping a switch on and off. Whereas in the beginning, it's like, how do I even surrender? Like, what do I do with my arms? What do I do with my body? Like, how do I even surrender in the first place? And it takes a while to learn that. So as we're in the practice of that, we get to be easy with ourselves. We get to celebrate ourselves for noticing and shifting rather than, beating ourselves up for being in the mind again, because we've been trained in this for so long. This is basically a new neural response that we are learning how to embody. And it's going to take time. So we get to be easy with ourselves as we're sitting with that. But I want you to sit with this question of, how is it that I can trust the flow of people coming in and coming out of my life? And you could apply this to anything, to your safety, to your money, to anything in your life, really. How can I trust more? How can I trust that I don't need to control? How can I trust that I don't need to grip? This is something that's so rooted in our construct of safety that it's going to take a while for us to learn to hold a new template. And so I'm just going to end with the question, what would it be like if I never gripped in the first place? And I want you to really think about, and I'm thinking about this for myself as well, what would it be like? How would you shift in your approach to life? And noticing the moment, and I'm noticing this in my personal life, pinpointed the exact moment actually where I shift from being nonchalant or being like go with the flow or being basically not gripping and not attaching to the moment that I then start to attach. And then I see all the behaviors that stem from that. And so looking at that for yourself and then thinking about what would it be like to not go into that space. Not that you're bad for doing it, just what would that be like? And start to kind of like ponder that. These are all the evolutions this is part of the evolutionary process. So please let me know in the comments if this resonates. If you want to stay up to date with some of these Divine Love template upgrades, go to my YouTube and I have a whole playlist that you can watch of just the Divine Love template shifts. And I'm going to probably keep doing this for the rest of my life. This is one of the things that I'm like tasked with to like keep track of. So you can subscribe to my channel and see all the videos there. And like I said, they're not time sensitive. You can watch them whenever, and whenever you feel drawn to watch them, you're going to get some beautiful gem from it, because these are all things that we haven't embodied fully as humans quite yet. In the entire collective, like nobody is really holding these in full embodiment. We're all learning. So it's also helpful to go back and just watch as reminders if you're really wanting sacred union and to step into a relationship that is expanding you into that next evolution of self.